Hi, and welcome back to the Positive Prepper. It's pretty unusual for me to put out 2 videos in one day. But there's some really important stuff going on that you guys need to stay aware of. Just an update to the video that I put out this morning. It turns out that Rhoda McDaniel, the RNC chair, wants to make Trump the de facto nominee of the Republican Party, even though Nikki Haley is still in it. So the curious question is why? I've never heard of that being done when there is still another candidate that's still in the running. So we definitely need to keep our eyes on that. This video, I'm going to kind of close that gap that I alluded to in this morning's video about the southern border. So it's happening. So this invasion happening at the southern border, we know that it's happening at the northern border as well. But it's not at the historic levels that we're obviously seeing down south. And I know that this is a topic that many preppers have covered, myself included, probably ad nauseum. But if you watch the New Hampshire primary and the election statistics before and after the Iowa caucus, the border and our national security is in the top 2 concerns among Americans. So what this means for preppers is twofold. First, it means that we are all living in border states. And because of that, you should be building up your personal security, your person and your home. So you need to secure your home against invasions, fighting against the agencies that are telling homeowners that they need to let these migrants into their homes, and then making sure that, trying to do what you can to make sure that your town or city doesn't get overrun. And if they do, that you are ready and willing to stand up for your American rights and stock up on things that tend to become scarce when there is an influx of people. And then secondly, it means that there may come a time when you may have to, through resource or body, defend our country against this continued invasion. There is so much proof out there about how this invasion truly does affect every American citizen. With all the fentanyl overdoses, all the drugs that are coming across, the child trafficking, the cartels getting more brazen, we're reaching that tipping point, and that might already have been made, but we'll see. And it also includes where your tax money is going. And that's kind of what I'm going to get into here. So on May 31st of 2021, Governor Abbott of Texas issued a disaster declaration certifying under Section 418.014 of the Texas Government Code the surge of people coming across the border posed, and I quote, an ongoing and imminent threat of disaster for a number of Texas counties and for all the state agencies affected by this disaster, end quote. On September 21st, 2023, he renewed this proclamation. Almost 20%, so 51 counties of the 254 counties in Texas have essentially declared what's happening as an invasion. And 58 counties have issued disaster declarations. When Governor Abbott declared that they would be, when Governor Abbott declared that they would be defending the southern border and put up the razor wire, right? So they're going to, essentially, they're going to follow the law that's already written. They're going to arrest illegal immigrants because, hello, they came across illegally, which is a crime. And then they were putting up the razor wire and the shipping containers and all these things to try to stop that flow. Biden's government took Texas to the Supreme Court to have Abbott's policies shut down. Okay? Under Article 4, Section 4 of the United States Constitution, and I quote, "The federal government shall guarantee to every state in the Union a republican form of government and shall protect each of them against invasion." Under Article 4, Section 7 of the Texas Constitution, the governor has the legal authority to suppress insurrection and to repel invasions. We all know that if the Chinese or the Russians or Iranians had ships dock in American ports and a couple thousand men jumped onto American soil, the U.S. government would call this an invasion and take action. Well, that would be the hope. The common purposeful misperception is that everyone coming across the southern borders are from South and Latin America, where these poor people need to seek asylum, because things are so bad there. But that isn't the case. These people are coming in from all over the world, as you well know. Syria, Afghanistan, Sierra Leone, China, Russia, and so forth. And many of these are young men of fighting age with no families with them. Again, this is all information that shouldn't come as a surprise to you. What might surprise you is that your tax dollars are going to organizations that are helping these migrants come through the border illegally. So in the description below, I posted a link where you can watch journalists who actually traveled with migrants from Quito, Ecuador, up to the southern border. It's the muckrakers.com one. There are basically 3 routes, all stemming from Quito, Ecuador. If you are a special interest alien, that's people that have a lot of money, you get to have the easiest route to Panama, especially through the Darien Gap, which is not an easy place to go. So once they get into Quito, Ecuador, they pick up a map and get water and other resources for their journey north. These are donated by agencies and governments such as UNICEF, Canada, the WEF, the UN, and the IOM, the International Organization of Migration. Once in Panama, the Red Cross gives out maps of migration from Panama to the U.S. They also tell the people when to board the train, the one that they refer to as the Beast, and safety precautions for when they are on board. Then, when they get to Colombia, especially if you're a Chinese nationalist, there's a Chinese staging point. This is basically a hotel for Chinese nationalists with money, and they have a very good network of systems, and it's very sophisticated. Okay. In Necoclí, Colombia, there is a staging point where they sell survival gear, again, to help them get the rest of the way on their journey. Then they get to Querétaro, Panama, which is the landing point before entering the Darien Gap. Now, this part is also very interesting. Panama has refugee camps where migrants are processed for the continued journey to the United States. These refugee camps are aided by, again, the IOM, the Red Cross, UNICEF, HIAS, H-I-A-S, which is the Hebrew Immigrant Aid Society, the EU, Doctors Without Borders, and the UN's High Commissioner for Refugees. Right here, and as well as in Quito, Ecuador, a lot of the illegal immigration could be stopped. But instead, it is funded and organized by agencies supported in part by your American tax dollars. From Panama, they are put on buses. My computer is really not liking me today. So let me back it up. Okay, from Panama, they are put on buses to Costa Rica, then across Nicaragua, Honduras, and Guatemala to the border of Mexico. Okay? People Without Borders organizes these mass migrant groups that come across Mexico. They have been accused of being far left extremists that hate people who criminalize these migrant crossings. In Irapuato, Mexico, the beast train is waiting for the migrants to load up. And I believe that all Mexican railways are owned by Kansas City Southern, a U.S.-based company. So again, why are they letting them use this railway, right? This has become what many have called the weaponized migration program, which was brought to light by the UN in a paper about replacement migration written in 2000. Now, I've heard on some news stations that that's just a conspiracy theory. There's nothing about wanting, 528 million refugees in the United States because we're an aging population, right? It kind of goes against the extinction of people. So I'm not really sure that it's replacement migration, but it's definitely weaponized migration. And again, and I've said this in other videos, remember that nothing happens unless someone wants it to. Look at all the areas that this invasion could be stopped, but instead is being aided and abetted, funded and encouraged by agencies that are partly funded by your tax dollars. So if you're sitting there thinking, oh, this isn't a weaponized migration program, it's just all of these people, it's a plan, but look at how these kids are being kicked out of school so that migrants can stay in the schools, or the veterans being kicked out of the hotels. Law-abiding, tax-paying Americans work for everything they own, while these illegal immigrants are given all kinds of free resources. And there are, in some places, hospitals have to turn away American citizens because there's so many illegal immigrants in their hospitals trying to get care. How fair is that? It's not. We, the people, should come first, always. But there are some places, some cities and counties that want these people to work in local law enforcement and have the ability to vote. Well, gee, I wonder why they would want them to be able to do those things, right? These agencies, the ones that I talked about, UNICEF, the Red Cross, the WEF, Doctors Without Borders, some of these are places that American citizens give their taxpayer money to, to make a difference in the world. But that money is going to help create and perpetuate this invasion at the southern border. And these agencies are perpetuating the largest human trafficking pipeline in the world and the largest drug trafficking pipeline in the world. This is why in every place where this could be stopped, the so-called border czar, the CIA, Homeland Security, and this administration keep turning a blind eye. With what the United States Supreme Court ruled and how Governor Abbott in Texas has responded, I think the answer is really clear. It may be up to us, the American patriots, to defend this country. We may have to go to Texas and help them, and unfortunately not just defend against the invasion, but now to defend their rights as a sovereign state, part of our sovereign nation, to fight the United States government to stop the invasion. So in my last video, when I talked about that you have to make these choices before February 8th, this may also be another one that you have to put in your mag group think tank about what you would do if you were called to arms to help defend. You know, will it get there? God, I pray not. But the way that all of this is going and the way it's all sort of paralleling what the establishment wants, anything is possible at this point. There are no coincidences. Nothing happens unless someone wants it to. They want this invasion. And only time will tell what the final reason why is. So as always, stay safe, stay aware, and God bless.